I'm not full Native American. Sorry, I still need to get classes. But I do have Native American heritage. My grandfather, my mom's side, was supposedly Apache. The sad thing is that I can't get the information. I know the last name. I do keep that secret on the vlog. I may have mentioned it, but I don't know if I have or not. There's over 1,500 video edited vlogs on it. So I know the last name. That would be on the tribal scroll. And it probably is. My uncle is more Native American than I am. My mom, I think, is it's hard to do it because I think he was half Apache. So maybe it makes my mom, I think, a quarter. And it makes my uncle also a quarter. So it'd make me, I think it's 1/16 or something like that. I have to lay it out and to figure out exactly how they do it. I think it actually was enough to have free education as long as I could find the tribal name on the scroll, which it would be on the scroll. I just have to brought that to the university and presented it, and I would have got all my loans and everything for free. My whole education would have been for free. I didn't do it at the time because it was trouble, and for some reason it was kept quiet in my family about being Apache. Back in the day, this was in the 50s and in the 60s, things like that, you never told anyone that you were an Apache Indian. They were not liked. And even Apache in French means enemy. So even the name itself is disgraceful because they come from Navajo. They're a Navajo nation. They're from that line. So even their own name is a bigoted name. Apache, which means an enemy, is a bigoted name that they even go by. I don't think the Apaches really cared because they were a little more aggressive at protecting their family and protecting their nation than other Native American. But I am glad to see Reservation Road take its front. When I first saw it, the reason I saw it on YouTube is because I thought it said Reservoir. No. Oh, yes. I'm glad I did that wrong. It's Reservation Dogs. That's the reason why I recalled it right just then. It's Reservation Dogs. The reason why I stopped on it is because I thought it said Reservoir Dogs. That was a very clever way of advertising. I was like, Reservoir Dogs, and then I saw that it said Reservation Dogs. And I stopped on it, and I pulled it up, and there was these kids talking about their television show, Reservation Dogs, and it's from Native American community. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool thing. But anyway, regardless, I do have Native American in me. And I do believe it's Apache. I'm not for sure. We used to think it was Cherokee. So we don't have even the information right. That's how the culture is destroyed. Remember, we're kept alive in history and names and stuff like that. These names have been obscured and stuff because they were ashamed, I think, of being Apache. But I'm not for sure if that's the case. So I don't even really know completely. But I do know for a fact that my grandfather on my mom's side was half Native American, is all I can clearly say. Everything else has been kept secret. He was a mailman. So he worked for the United States Postal Mail, or the United States Post Office. Anyway, but I don't think the government's allowed on reservations. And this is called Reservation Dogs. So I got it wrong, but found it through a memory device. Well, through thinking it was Reservoir Dogs. It's a clever advertisement, but it's not Reservoir Dogs. It's Reservation Dogs. So it's an easy thing to find. I haven't been able to see it, and may not ever, I don't know. The sad thing is about the Native American culture is that it's still disgraced, and it's done by confusion. It's done by not being orderly with names. It's not respected in museums correctly, and it's not respected in our society correctly. But one thing that I am grateful for about people living on reservations and especially Native Americans, is that they don't have to bear the cruelty of the Social Security number. They don't have to bear that. And they are to be left alone by our country. They have their own country and their own belief systems. And they are to live in peace with that. And we are to leave them alone. So the reason why I use the word disgrace and stuff is not because I don't respect the Native American culture. It's because it's true. They are still disgraced in our society today. And I talked to Kevin Costner about it pretty much face to face and was given kind of a smug answer, like most Hollywood actors. Because I was edited out of that particular episode of Kevin Costner's interview when I stood up at the actor studio to ask him about stereotypes in Hollywood. And he immediately responded with, Dances with Wolves and some kind of meeting that he had with the actors. Now he's working with Yellowstone with another guy that's connected with me who did a lot of great work, Sicario and everything, Taylor Sheridan. And I am disappointed that that was edited out, because I asked him an important question, especially about the Native Americans, and I think Marlon Brando would be very ashamed. I wasn't real impressed with the Kevin Costner interview, but I asked him this. I said, well, what do you think as the future of Hollywood, which we are, what do you think, or how do you think Hollywood handles the stereotype? He knows I was talking about the Native Americans. How do they handle the stereotype today? And he came out with this long monologue, this long answer about how he had gathered the crew together and gathered the actors together on Dances with Wolves and made some kind of comment. But within that speech, he made a very rude comment. Kevin Costner did. I'm just speaking truth. And the comment that he said is, he was looking at New York, and he was looking at us, and he said, well, this is not Hollywood. That's what he said. He was rebuking me for saying that we're the future of Hollywood. Why can't we be? And then, he said, I wish you guys, then later on he said, I wish something for all of you. And I don't know if this is in the interview, it probably is. And he said, I hope that all you guys have a drive home. I guess that made sense. Because he was edited out of a certain movie. Now it's starting to make a little bit of sense to me. But he was edited out of a movie called The Big Chill. And he goes, I hope y'all all have a drive home one day where you realize I worked with these people, these great actors, yet I was edited out. I was edited out of the movie. I've been having that drive home for quite a bit of time. But there will be a time when, the right voices will be heard. But I think the Native Americans are still treated like crap. And that's basically what I should have said. But I was a student. I had to do it in a respectful way. So I just wanted to talk about stereotypes, And he didn't get that real with me. But then again, who cares? That was edited out because that was not couth. And I didn't want to be couth at that moment. I wasn't criticizing Dances with Wolves. He won an Oscar for it. It was a pretty big deal. But also I found out some other things about Kevin Costner that kind of made me mad. I know he's kind of one of those guys that people sometimes talk about, like he's not as great as everyone thinks he is. But what made me mad was he was mean to the writer of Dances with Wolves. He was honest that night in the interview, and he said, the writer of Dances with Wolves, was living with his wife and himself in his house or whatever, and he threw him up against the refrigerator, the writer. And he said, stop writing this trash, this 80-page screenplay trash. Start writing something, that's worthy or whatever. And he came out with Dances with Wolves. So Kevin Costner rebuked him. But you know what? Why don't we bring attention to the Native American culture? Why don't we bring attention to them and allow more things like reservation dogs. Why don't we do that kind of stuff? Why is Dances with Wolves this flash and trash that happened in the early 90s so this guy could win his little Oscar and walk off? Why isn't he, Yellowstone's not cutting it, I'm not buying it completely. That's what I was trying to say. I wanted my voice to be heard that day to say, hey, listen, man, you're talking to another Native American, and then you cut me out of the whole interview, or at least Lipton did. You know what I mean? What happened to it? There's still Native Americans out there that don't have a voice. And there's still Native American artists out there that don't have a voice. That's still happening. You know what I mean? I don't think that was ever addressed, and I don't think it should have been edited out of that particular episode, but it was. And I've been having that drive home for quite a bit of time. That big chill drive home for too long. I'm getting pretty upset. And I'm getting to the point where I've had enough screenplays written. I've had enough projects that I've tried to lift off. I'm getting pretty upset. Because I know you guys are a big bank with a lot of money. And you're not helping squat. Hollywood has gone to a shameful state of Marvel movies. And it's getting empty. And I know Scorsese was just in Oklahoma. And I know these guys have power and stuff like that, but it's sad. It's a sad situation because really, to be honest, it really makes these guys look like a lot of hypocrites. Because they know I'm there, they know I'm upset, they know I want funding, and they're quiet about it. Yet they're going to go off and make another movie addressing Native American culture and get away with it and profit off of it. Because that's what Dances with Wolves was. And we're about to release this other one, Flowers, or what is it? Killers of the Flower Moon. I make some mistakes. Killers of the Flower Moon. Yet we're quiet about the Native American art and the Native American people. And we try to shield that. So you can answer any message or any of your people that make a comment on my channel will go straight to my email and I will respond to you. So the big chill drive home. I have to explain that. Okay, so Kevin Costner did a movie called Big Chill. He only ended up in a casket. Okay? And he made a point about that. He made a point about that because he had worked with like Glenn Close, Tom Berenger, all these. Well, Tom Berenger wasn't that big of an actor at the time, but he became a big actor. And he had some scenes, so he was a contender, and he was going to be this big movie star. And when the movie came out, he was not in the movie at all. He was completely edited out. He was only in the casket. I don't even know if you saw him in the casket. I have to go back and watch The Big Chill. All these big actors are in The Big Chill. But when he drove home, he realized, you know what? I worked with them, so I know there's a connection. It's going to be okay. So he felt a form of success and accomplishment, even though he drove home from the premiere probably almost in tears because he was not in the movie. This is back when they cut edited film, it ended up on the editing floor and swept away and gone. It probably can be recalled. So he's in the deleted scenes now, probably. But regardless, it was a speech that he made about getting edited out. And I got edited out. The whole thing was edited out when I was interviewed. It's like Bradley Cooper went up and talked to Robert De Niro, and he's got like half Italian blood in him. Because Bradley Cooper's half Italian, but he's also half Irish. Or something like that. And he didn't get edited out at all. He just said, hey, when you were in the Awakenings and you did this weird thing with your hand, did you like plan that? Or was that just coming out of like instinct? Robert De Niro's like, good question. And that was it. Bradley Cooper was a star. I asked a really good question to Kevin Costner. And Lipton was like, cut it, slice it, gone. And I'm also part Native American. I have Native American in me, My grandfather, Papa Joe, was Native American. I demand to see that footage that I asked Kevin Costner because I care about the Native American people. Okay? I know oh yes, I care about them more. Well, you know what? I am what he was writing about, or I am what he was acting about. I am what Dances with Wolves was kind of about. But where have we gone in today's society? You hog all the money and act like a smug actor. There's your rebuke. You know, I don't really want to say that I'm Hollywood. I don't want to have to say that. But you know what? It embarrassed me when I didn't get just edited out. I got rebuked in front of the world by a smug guy who's, you know, practically an idiot. Yeah, you heard it. Oh yeah, you designed some kind of nuclear reactor. Give me a break. Give me a break. You know, enjoy your security. You know, why people on reservations still struggle today. I don't hear a word about what he ever says about Native Americans. You know, I haven't heard a word since Dances with Wolves, which everybody just cried over. What a beautiful story, you know. What I'm trying to say is it's about time for some of these people to man up and face the news. I'm not gonna sue or anything like that, but I'm sure his people, you know, will get all upset because he doesn't want to get rebuked by another actor, by another artist, which is what I am. What did you think would happen? You know, we were there for real. We were facing the news. 9/11 had already happened, and we were still there studying. And these people don't give a trash. They don't give a squat about anybody but themselves. You know, I don't even want to watch Yellowstone. I don't even care. I'm not jealous. But I was edited out and I was rebuked. He was edited out, but now he's been rebuked. In layman's term, Mr. Kevin Costner, I need some funding, bro. There's going to have to be some money. And I hate to be cruel that way, but remember how cruel white American Europeans were to your Native American stereotype. Because you're looking at the behavior of a Native American. And it ain't like Dancing with Wolves. So we're going to have to talk about some funding.